everybody. So today I am in the beautiful country of Saint Lucia, which is supposed to be one of the most beautiful islands in the Caribbean. I flew in here last night and I just so happened to be visiting this country during its Carnival festival. So hopefully gonna see some of that today. As you can see, this is a very mountainous country, and I'm currently taking the scenic route to the capital city of Castries, which should be right down there. I was just talking to an older woman, and she told me that the carnival events for today don't start for another couple of hours. So in the meantime, I'm going to do some exploring. Well, I've made it to downtown Castries, and yeah, this is the capital city. It's one of the few areas of flat land on this island, and so that's why they built shit here. This map shows all the places of interest around Castries, and one of them is KFC. Half the streets in town are closed off because of the carnival, so people got to deal with this shit. A child just saw me filming, and he asked me, "Hey, do you have a YouTube channel?" And that kind of caught me off guard. I had to think about it. I was like, oh yeah, I do have a YouTube channel, but it's pretty small. And he seemed unimpressed. This carnival fest that they have here seems to be very similar to the one that they have down in Brazil, from what little I can tell. And I was looking online, hold on. I was looking online to try to figure out if there was any sort of deeper lore to the St. Lucian Carnival, but there doesn't seem to be. It seems to just be people having a good time. I think that's based. I'm quickly approaching the Castries City viewpoint, as it's labeled on Google Maps. And just out of curiosity, I started reading some of the bad reviews that it had. One of them said that they paid $20 for a taxi ride up to the top, and they said it was worth only about $10. I'll let you know if it's a $10 view. Made it to the viewpoint. I would say this was definitely worth at least 10 bucks. Luckily, I managed to get here for free because I'm a strapping young lad who can climb up hills. I didn't realize it until just a second ago, but way over there in the distance, you can see another island. That's Martinique. Won't be going to that one. There is an old colonial house. Probably belonged to someone bad. You can hear Carnival going on in the distance. Time to head back to town.
I don't want you to follow the truth. It's because they said the rich can't hold all of us. When this song said to run, I want everybody to run across the bridge.
Well, that's enough carnival for me. That parade went on for miles and miles. I would guess like maybe a quarter of the entire island was there, I would say. Yeah, overall I liked it, but after a while I'm like, all right, enough of this shit. This is too loud. So that's why I took a bus up here. Right now I'm at the northern end of the island in a town called Grosse Islet. And there's some good hiking nearby. I'm walking to that place over there. That's called Pigeon Island. But here's a fun fact about Pigeon Island. It is no longer an island. There's actually a causeway now that connects the mainland to there. So, but they're still calling it an island. That horse kind of looks like Trump. I've made it to the causeway at least. This is all land that didn't used to exist, or it was underwater. And now there are resorts here. I'm walking on the island now. I didn't realize that it was a ticketed national park. And it turned out that I got here just in time with less than an hour until it closes. My goal is to try to climb to the top of Pigeon Island. And at the very top is a point called Signal Peak. From what I can gather, it at least used to be a spot that they used to transmit radio signals from. You know what? I was going to climb to the top of this thing, but I know when to say no to an adventure. This is what I would have climbed to the top to if I wasn't such a coward. But hey, I'm happy with the view. Up ahead is a fort that was also used as a signal station in World War II. Wasn't aware that any shit was going on in the Caribbean at the time. My plan for tomorrow is to check out the mountains on the south side of the island, way over there. This fort that I'm standing by was historically significant because it was used to defend Saint Lucia from Martinique. This is when the English and French were battling over these islands. It took quite a while for me to get back. Carnival was still going on, and that parade lasted for miles, and it was happening on the only road into town, and so the buses weren't going all the way into town, and so I ended up walking like over an hour next to the Carnival parade, next to the deafening music. It was pretty intense. Anyway, I don't think Carnival should get in the way of today's adventures. Back in Castries to find a bus to go further south for today. And I learned that Castries is actually built on reclaimed land. This land used to be ocean not too long ago. Well, I've made it to the southern edge of Saint Lucia. This is a town called Viewfort. I just took a bus on the eastern side of the island to get here. And I don't plan to spend a whole lot of time here. I'm just gonna check it out a little bit and eat some lunch. My main purpose for today is to go to the two most famous mountains on the island. They're called the Pitons. When I flew into St. Lucia the other day, I did so in the regional airport, which is on the north side of the island. That's where the capital city is. But down here is where the more international airport is. And it's kind of a surprise because this is a smaller town and doesn't seem to have quite as much. Well, there doesn't seem to be a whole lot here. So I'm gonna go eat my first meal of the day and then hike up a mountain. I just took the bus around to Tet Paul Nature Center, and it seems like this is a great place to not only do some hiking, but also see the two mountains that I was talking about earlier. I was sitting in one seat on the bus, and then when some more room opened up somewhere else, I moved and sat there. And then I saw a woman sit down in my seat a couple minutes later, and she started complaining about how much sweat there was. Whenever I visit these hot foreign countries, I notice that I sweat quite a bit more than the locals do. That makes me wonder, is it a white thing or is it a me thing to sweat that much? Probably both. Now that I'm kind of in the middle of nowhere, I can start talking some shit. So I've noticed that when people around here listen to the radio, it's always either like party music, which is good vibes, or they listen to Christian talk radio, which is bad vibes. And they don't just listen to it, they blast it at full volume. Just sermons about how it's bad to have sex being played at max volume. I've seen that multiple times here, and I have no idea why. I finally arrived at the entrance of the stairway to heaven, which is good because I'm about to die of heat exposure. There it is. There's one of the two Piton mountains. And from what I've read online, this trail that I'm about to do is the lesser of two trails that showcase the two mountains. But it sounds like the one that I'm gonna do is, you know, sufficient. So I'm happy with it. As far as mountain hikes go, this one's not too bad. It's got stairs and it's into the shade. What more can you ask for? I know I just said that this trail's not so bad. And on paper it's not, but this heat is really getting to me and I'm having to stop every like 2 minutes to drink a cup of water. I've brought, I think, 3 bottles of water with me. Hopefully it's enough. I noticed that my water's pH level is listed as between 8 and 8.8. And from what I remember from chemistry, that number should be about 7. Oh, I've made it to the top. That wasn't too bad. That is one of the 2 Pythons. And then that one over there is the other. The reason why Saint Lucia is so beautiful and mountainous is because oh shit. As I was saying, the reason why Saint Lucia is so beautiful and mountainous is because it lies on a very volcanically active zone. And it actually has a volcano that you can drive up to and see from your car. And that's about 2 miles here from here. So that's what I'm gonna walk to. By the way, there's basically only one road on the island. It goes around the entire island. And this is it. This is how quiet it is. Here is that volcano that I've been walking to. This is about as close as I'm getting to it, but I can definitely smell it. Just to emphasize that this is a drive-in volcano. This is the road, and then it brings you up there, and then the volcano is right over here. Notice how down there you can see a river running through the volcano. I've seen a number of volcanoes before, but I haven't seen this. Notice also that this isn't one of those pointy volcanoes that you think about when you hear about a volcano. I think this one's called a shield volcano. That's probably wrong, but it's not going to stop me from telling you guys. Here's the town of Soufrière. It's pretty much the only town on the island I haven't checked out yet. Can't spend too much time checking out this town because I still have to get back and it's getting late, and it'll be about an hour and a half bus ride back. But for now, I'll enjoy this. There are chickens just walking everywhere in this town. At one point, Saint Lucia was controlled by the French, and then England took it over. And when England took it over, they left some of the town names the same, and some of them they decided to anglicize. And Soufrière is one that they kept the same. Well, I almost died in a car accident last night on the way back. I was taking a bus back and it was going very fast. And there was a car coming in the other direction that was overtaking another car. And everyone slammed on the brakes, but it was close. Got another lease at life now. Anyway, time to fuck around some more. On the left of me is the airport that I'll be flying out of soon. It's literally just a single airstrip that goes on for over a mile. And from what I've heard, it was actually a horse track back in the day, but then they repurposed it to a second airport. That's about it for Saint Lucia. See you at the next island.